Dear finance professionals and students, welcome to podcast of FCA Deepak Rao, a practicing chartered accountant. Weekly digest for week 2 of October 2025. After months of funding discussions, Raise Financial, the parent of stock trading startup Dhan, has closed a $120 million financing round led by Hornbill Capital, valuing the company at around $1.2 billion. The round also saw participation from Japan's Mitsubishi UFJ Financial Group, BNext, and public market investors such as Rajesh Damani, DSP Family Office, JM Financial Family Office, and Ashish Somaya, CEO of White Oak Capital. The Reserve Bank of India is poised to liberalize its foreign loan regime, potentially allowing external commercial borrowings in real estate for the first time in 3 decades. This policy shift, previously resisted due to the 97 Asian crisis, aims to bolster the rupee with increased dollar supply and acknowledges the sector's evolving maturity. If the sales of one sector was closely tracked since the GST new rates were announced, it is undoubtedly the auto sector. The passenger vehicle and two-wheeler registrations are up 21 to 24% in the first 9 days. Eicher Motors, Tata Motors and M&M have delivered strong 27 to 43% year-on-year growth in September. The Securities and Exchange Board of India, or SEBI, has unveiled 2 significant initiatives aimed at enhancing payment security in the securities market. Under the new framework, the UPI IDs of SEBI-registered investor-facing intermediaries will now include an exclusive @valid handle. This handle, issued by the National Payments Corporation of India, or NPCI, will be accompanied by category-specific suffixes to indicate the type of intermediary. The move is expected to reduce the risk of fraudulent UPI IDs being used to mislead investors. In addition to the validated UPI system, SEBI has introduced SEBI Check, a digital verification tool. This platform enables investors to independently verify the bank account details and UPI IDs of SEBI-registered intermediaries. With just a few clicks, investors can confirm whether payment credentials genuinely belong to the intended intermediary, thereby adding an extra layer of security. India's bustling market for new equity listings is entering a crucial period, with proceeds from initial public offerings in October expected to cross a record $5 billion. $2 billion plus IPOs, including the year's biggest, will start taking orders from the public in the coming week. The offers by Tata Capital Limited and LG Electronic Inc.'s Indian arm are set to test investor appetite in one of the world's busiest IPO venues of 2025, which has seen the pace of shares sales accelerate despite global tariff shocks and geopolitical tensions. Indian IT services company LTIMindtree announced on Monday that it had won its largest ever deal, pegging the size at $580 million. The 6th largest software services exporter in India said the deal was with a leading global media and entertainment company. The deal comes at a time when India's $283 billion IT sector is facing macroeconomic uncertainties, tariff-related risks, and changes in US immigration policy. Eli Lilly will invest over $1 billion in India to boost manufacturing and supply through local drug makers, increasing the availability of key drugs like Mounjaro. This strategic move leverages India's skilled workforce and includes a new Hyderabad facility to oversee contract manufacturing, despite global shifts towards US production. IndusInd International Holdings Limited has finalized its acquisition of Sterling Bank in Bahamas. This follows the initial 51% stake purchase in September 2022. The Mauritius-based company now holds full ownership of the Bahamian bank. IndusInd International Holdings is a significant investor in BFSI sector and is also the promoter of IndusInd Bank in India. The Reserve Bank of India has issued a draft of the Lending to Related Parties Directions 2025 for public consultation. The draft seeks to establish a unified regulatory framework governing lending by banks, non-bank financial companies, and other regulated entities to their related parties. The draft directions introduce several significant reforms. These include materiality thresholds for board approval of related party transactions, ensuring that only substantial exposures require direct oversight. The draft also clarifies that independent directors of other banks will not be classified as related parties, thereby reducing unnecessary compliance burdens. Additionally, certain transactions are exempted from specific provisions of the Banking Regulation Act, offering flexibility to institutions while maintaining prudential safeguards. Direct-to-consumer home and furnishing startup Wakefit has received regulatory approval from the Securities and Exchange Board of India to launch an initial public offering. The Bengaluru-based company plans to use the proceeds from the fresh issue to fund capital expenditure for new stores, purchase of equipment, lease payments, marketing initiatives, and general corporate purposes. The company operates 5 manufacturing facilities across Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Haryana, and sells a range of mattresses, furniture, and furnishings through its own channels and external marketplaces. India's top 4 strategy consulting firms McKinsey, BCG, Bain, and A.T. Kearney achieved a historic milestone, crossing $1 billion in combined revenues in financial year 24. The rapid growth, averaging 15 to 16%, outpaces global trends and is driven by evolving client demands and technology transformation, with revenues projected to reach over $3 billion in less than a decade. Google is set to invest $10 billion to establish a data center cluster of 1 gigawatt capacity in Visakhapatnam in what would be the global technology giant's first such investment in India. The facility will span 3 campuses and is slated for operation by July 2028, requiring extensive submarine cable and fiber optic infrastructure. Despite accumulated losses of Rs 16,958.3 crore, the Tata Group injected Rs 4,000 crore into its e-commerce arm, Tata Digital, in financial year 25. This fresh equity signals continued investor confidence even as primary businesses like Croma, Big Basket, and Tata 1mg remain loss-making. Management has assessed the going concern assumption, citing positive net worth and past fundraising abilities. Salaries across India are expected to see a 9% rise in 2026 despite global economic growth uncertainties. A newly released survey by Aon noted that the economy had remained resilient despite headwinds, supported by strong domestic consumption, investments, and policy measures. The survey also revealed that overall attrition rates have declined to 17.1% in 2025, down from 17.7% in 2024 and 18.7% in 2023. This gradual decline points to a more stable talent landscape, with organizations experiencing improved employee retention. The Reserve Bank of India on Tuesday proposed changes to the way banks assign risk weightage to loans and the so-called expected credit loss framework in a move aimed at aligning domestic regulations with global norms. The proposed changes seek to ease the risk weightage or capital that must be set aside for different types of loans. Major changes include differentiated risk weights for corporate loans, loans to micro, small and medium enterprises, as well as real estate exposures. The Reserve Bank of India has proposed that the Banking Ombudsman may pay a compensation up to rupees 30 lakh to aggrieved bank customers for any consequential loss they suffer. This is part of the central bank's effort to strengthen the Ombudsman scheme and raise customer satisfaction. In addition, the Ombudsman shall also have the power to provide up to rupees 3 lakh for harassment suffered and time spent for taking up the grievances by the complainant. Anthropic India expansion. The large language model startup, valued at $183 billion after a $13 billion funding round in September, will open an office in Bengaluru next year and build a local team, with plans to partner with conglomerates, health institutions, education organizations, and startup accelerators to develop locally relevant AI applications. Anthropic is also looking for partners to help develop and manage sovereign AI capabilities within the Indian regulatory framework. Mahindra Group clarified that it has no plans to demerge its auto and tractor businesses, countering recent media reports. The company stated it values the synergies from keeping these units within the Mahindra & Mahindra entity, despite earlier speculation about separating tractors, passenger vehicles, and trucks into independent entities. Hong Kong and Shanghai Bank Corp Limited, or HSBC, has committed $1 billion to fund startups through loans in India under its so-called innovation banking platform. The bank will offer short-term working capital and term loans to startups as it seeks to deepen its existing franchise in the country. This expansion, following the UK Silicon Valley Bank acquisition, marks India as the 13th market with a dedicated startup program. India Inc. is significantly increasing its flex seat requests, more than doubling them to 53 this year, while startups are opting for leaner setups. This surge positions India at the forefront of the global flex movement, attracting substantial investment and transforming commercial real estate, with projected flex space market penetration reaching 30% by 2030. India and Australia inked key defence agreements during Defence Minister Rajnath Singh's visit, marking a significant step in strengthening operational partnerships. The newly signed pacts aim to deepen trust and strategic alignment, fostering enhanced engagement between the two nations' armed forces. Both sides reaffirmed their commitment to peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific region. A proposal to allow foreign direct investment in an inventory-based model of e-commerce only for export purposes is under examination. It will help increase India's outbound shipments without impacting the businesses of small retailers, Piyush Goyal, Commerce and Industry Minister, said. At present, the country's FDI policy does not permit FDI in the inventory-based model of e-commerce. It is allowed only in firms that are operating through a marketplace model. Fund management platform Avishkar Group has launched One Avishkar, a one-stop solution to help drive scale for emerging venture funds. Under One Avishkar, the firm has partnered with Jamwant Ventures to launch a Rs 500 crore defense and deep tech focused fund. The new fund, Jamwant Ventures Fund 2, is looking to back 20 to 25 defense and deep tech startups between the early and growth stages, with an average check size of $1 million to $5 million. 15 to 20% of the fund will be earmarked for follow-on investments in portfolio companies. Meta, the company that owns Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, has hired Sifi Technologies as its landing partner in India under an estimated $5 million contract. Google has also partnered with Sifi for the India landing of its $400 million Blue Raman subsea cable. Meta Platforms has chosen Mumbai and Vishakhapatnam as the landing sites for the India leg of its multi-billion-dollar undersea cable project, Waterworth. India's subsea cable ecosystem has witnessed massive capacity addition in the last 3 years. Brokerage Grow is looking to launch its Rs 7,000 crore initial public offering in the first week of November. The Bengaluru-based firm, backed by Microsoft Chief Executive Officer Satya Nadella, is expected to announce the price band for its issue by the end of October. Vivo Mobile India has assured its financial solvency as a going concern despite auditors raising concerns due to ongoing regulatory actions and tax issues. The company plans to maintain an optimal capital structure to manage its cost of capital and safeguard its ability to continue operations, aiming to preserve investor and market confidence. ID Fresh Food is reportedly in talks with several private equity firms, including Carlyle and Kedara, to raise approximately Rs 1,200 crore. The funding round, potentially involving smaller checks from high net worth individuals and family offices, is expected to value the company between Rs 4,000 to Rs 5,000 crore. Existing investors plan to sell only a small portion of their holdings. The National Financial Reporting Authority, or NFRA, has commenced the series of Auditor-Audit Committee interactions to suggest measures for improvement in overall audit quality and to promote awareness and significance of accounting and auditing standards. In the Interaction Series 4, NFRA has drawn the attention of auditors to the potential questions the audit committees or board of directors may ask them in respect of impairment of non-financial assets as required by Ind AS 36 impairment of assets and SA 540 auditing accounting estimates including fair value accounting estimates and related disclosures. The life insurance industry reported a 15% year-on-year rise in new business premiums to Rs 40,206.67 crore in September, supported by robust growth from both the Life Insurance Corporation of India and private insurers. The rebound follows a 5% decline in August when collections dropped to Rs 30,958.77 crore as customers delayed purchases in anticipation of GST rate cuts on life insurance. While Tata Consultancy Services, or TCS, drew much attention when it announced in July that it was sacking 2% of its workforce, about 12,000 out of 600,000 by March 2026, scores of large and medium-sized technology services companies have been asking people to resign or find other jobs quietly. While the total number of dismissals is difficult to measure, estimates peg that 25,000 between 2023 and 2024, suggesting that the number is set to double this year. The Reserve Bank of India has proposed to repeal approximately 9,000 circulars to reduce regulatory burden and compliance costs. This move consolidates existing instructions into 238 master directions, aiming to simplify the regulatory framework. The central bank is seeking public comments on these draft consolidation documents. Global consumer internet group Prosus is set to invest Rs 1,296 crore or $146 million in AI-powered travel platform ixigo through a preferential issue of equity shares. This marks one of the largest primary fundraisers by a listed Indian tech company in recent times. Listed on the Indian bourses in June 2024 at an issue price of Rs 93 per share, ixigo has since emerged as the fastest growing online travel agency, or OTA, in the country, particularly strong among India's next billion users segment. Initial public offerings in India could raise as much as $20 billion over the next 12 months, helping the country to cement its position as one of the world's busiest listings markets, according to Citigroup Inc. IPOs have already fetched $12 billion in India this year, with another $5 billion set to be added this month alone, thanks in part to Tata Capital Limited and LG Electronics Inc.'s Indian arm, which both start trading next week. Tata Consultancy Services or TCS on Friday said it would create 5,000 new jobs in the United Kingdom over the next 3 years as it expanded its operations there with the launch of an artificial intelligence or AI experience zone and design studio in London. The IT firm, India's largest, said the move underscores its long-standing partnership with the UK and its intent to deepen investment in innovation and talent development. The new London studio, TCS's second after New York, will serve as a hub for client collaboration and innovation, drawing on partnerships with academia, startups and enterprises across the UK. The new system under the Goods and Services Tax, allowing 90% provisional refund to be released quickly in all low-risk cases, has given a huge relief to the pharma and medtech sectors. By amending Rule 91(2) of CGST Rules 2017, the government has made it easier for companies in these two sectors to get tax refunds without long delays. The industry players said that the move will ease the working capital constraints of both the sectors, thereby stimulating domestic manufacturing. This podcast is sponsored by Sound of CA. We share because we care. Vande Mataram, Jai Hind.